Yeah, I know it's not Tuesday, and you guys are used to seeing me in this on Tuesday. But I'm trying to do a couple of these videos so that I can start the process of really editing all of this stuff. So with that being said, most of these videos still are unedited, uncut. I'm just going to have to learn how to articulate myself a little better so I don't have to edit and cut. And that's the goal, right? What if you could do a video and not edit or cut? But I digress. We've gotten off the topic of why we're here. So last time we talked, which was yesterday or today, we talked about my brother with the sizzle herd around the world. With that, we're going to get into the family selling apples. Now remember, I told you guys we didn't have a lot of money. And we had to hustle. So my natural thing is to hustle and go hard. And it's not necessarily because I'm good at it. It's one of those survival instincts that you just happen to do for years. Well, my parents a lot of times didn't know how they were going to feed us. And, people from the church would either invite us over for dinner, a neighbor would bring us something, which most of the time was a family member, or, we'd have to hustle up some stuff to eat. Now, my parents had what were considered good jobs. My dad at the time, he's now a retired teacher, but he was a tool and die maker, and my mom is a registered nurse. And what they would do is we'd have to find some way to make money. My dad befriended, I don't know how, my parents have always been able to just talk to people, and people like them. This guy had an apple orchard. His name was Bob Hughes. Now, they met because we went and got a bag of apples from him at one time. So they started talking, and Bob had said that he was going to try to get out of that business. So he was done, that he had too many apples, he was getting older. So my dad said, hey, how about you give me some apples and I'll sell them. And they worked out a negotiation. I think it was like, for every bag we sold, Bob got $1. Well, lo and behold, who's going to sell these apples? Well, it's not just going to be my dad and mom. We had to go out there. My brother, my sister, me. We're the ones selling the apples. And we worshipped, or went to church, I should say, on Saturday. So we were Seventh-day Adventists. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like being Jewish with very similar beliefs. But anything from sundown Friday until sundown Saturday, you couldn't work, you couldn't cook, you couldn't do anything. So that left us one day. So again, if you look at my last video, and I'll probably try to link this one, I'm trying to get better, so that might be my 1% better. We would be working on this house, or chopping wood, or doing something to make life a little bit better. Hell, just live. At that point, that's all we were trying to do, was just live. So on Sunday, we'd go over to Bob's. He'd give us these apples. We load up the truck. My dad had this white Dodge Ram. I think it's the first truck, first car that he personally ever bought new that was his. It didn't have a radio in it. It had, and you guys probably, I know some of you millennials don't know, they had these windows that you could roll down manually. And if you've seen them, great, but they don't have a lot of those anymore. So we load up these apples. 5 people would get into a single cab truck, and we would drive to some location off of the highway. Everybody would get out. We'd have one of those little brown signs, and it'd say apples, $2-3 a bag or whatever. And we actually got quite good at selling apples. I mean, when you gotta eat, you gotta eat, you know what I mean? So we'd sell all the apples, and then my dad would take the money and take it back to Bob Jugas. Well, what ended up happening, Bob must have saw the shape that we were in. Now, do not get it twisted. My dad was a great provider. My family were great providers. He did what he had to do in the times we were in, which was not in Alabama. It was kind of hard to get ahead, even if you were a professional. And you guys think that teachers and tool and die makers and nurses are these professionals that make a lot of money. Then it was not like that. And it may have been for other people, but for black people, it was not. I can tell you that right now, because you just heard this story and the past story, what was going on. So Bob said, don't give me $1, just give me 25 cents per bag that you sold. And I said, okay. So he gave him that. So my hustle mentality and how I am with all of this referee stuff, learning new things, trying to always be ahead of the curve, comes from being hungry. Stay hungry. Always stay hungry. Because all of this crap can end. This truck can go away tomorrow. My house can go away. My health can go away. Everything can end. With this recession and all this stuff that's going on, those little cushy positions, there's thousands of people losing their jobs. And that's why I keep telling you guys to keep hustling. I will be a hustler until I take my last breath. I don't know any other way. I don't think I'd have it any other way. With that, I started a little ramble. All of it was still in sync and on point. So if you stayed until the end, thank you for rocking with me. All my subscribers, I love you. I appreciate your support. For those who haven't hit that little thummy thing yet, please go ahead and hit that. Don't be thumb thugging. And with that, Big Unks out.